Hello YouTube, Dark Maven 1976 here with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my second hobby, which is video games. I'm going to be comparing two games, Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th. I will tell you which game I like better at the end of this video, though I do like both games. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So let me tell you the types of video games I like. Mostly I like horror games, but I also like games like Final Fantasy. And I've been playing Final Fantasy 15 while playing these other two, Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight. I've been into horror games ever since the first horror game I played, which was a bootleg version of Sweet Home. I love that game. It scared the poo out of me. Scared little me. Also, I played Friday the 13th on the NES, which probably tells you how old I am. Sorry about the banging. My neighbors are fixing their apartment. Yeah, so that's going to keep happening. Anyway, I played the first Friday the 13th on the NES, which probably tells you how old I am. Yeah, it sucked. I'll say that. But I do love horror games. I love being scared. And I picked up these two, Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th, around the same time, and I've been playing a lot of them. So let me talk about what the pros and cons of each, and at the end of this video I will tell you which ones I like better. So let's start with Dead by Daylight. It kind of has a storyline. This entity pulls a killer and 4 survivors from the real world into this alternate universe, and the killer sacrifices the survivors to this entity by placing them on a hook. The entity doesn't care whether or not the survivors live or die. It gets power either way. And yeah, that's basically the storyline. So let's go into the pros and cons. So let's go into the pros, or what I like about Dead by Daylight. One, there's like multiple killers. You play as the doctor or the nurse, and each of these killers have different stats, which I like. You can buy 3 killers for the expansion, and these are like from the movies. There's Michael Myers, or The Shape. There's Freddy Krueger, which is the new one and not the Robert Englund one. And there is Leatherface, which isn't my favorite in the movies, but I do enjoy watching that movie. Next, there's there's like upgradable characters. Like the survivors, you can upgrade their stats so when they level up, so you have a better chance of surviving. You can work together with these survivors to get away or help them escape from the killer. You can hook the survivor, heal them, and work together on fixing the generator. It's pretty fun. And different settings. There's different settings in each of the rounds you play. You could play like in Haddonfield or the Asylum, or there's just different places you can play, which is more interesting than just staying in one spot. So let's go into the cons of the game, or parts I really don't like. And number 1 is the killers that don't actually do the killing. They slash the survivor and get them down enough where they can pick them up and put them on a hook. The survivor will have time to wriggle out of the killer's grasp if the killer can't find a hook. Or they can, when on the hook, other survivors can come and rescue them. The killer doesn't actually do the final blow, which kind of sucks because I like to watch, in a horror movie, that's what I like to watch, is the killer actually killing. The second one is the killers have to look at the weapon in between hits, giving the survivor a chance to escape, which is kind of crap because I want to go after that survivor. I don't want to have to pause every time I smack them to look at the blade and clean it or whatever. There's no Another one is there's no communication between players. I know in Friday the 13th I can talk to people and tell them where stuff is, like, oh, the battery is in this place or whatever. You can communicate with the camp counselors in Friday the 13th, and you can't in this one. It's just dead silence. Also, if you're playing like the killer in the game, you can't taunt the survivors. You can't say, I'm going to kill you or whatever. Put the fear of God into them. I think that part is a little boring. There's only the third one or fourth one is there's only 2 ways to escape. You in the game you have like 7 generators you have to get up and running. And once those are up and running, you can escape by the 2 exits that appear. And once all the survivors, or if there's 1 left, you can escape through a hatch, which I've never done. I've always escaped through the main exit. It's just, I don't know, boring. It can be boring to try to fix these generators and wait for the killer to come, and yeah, it's not fun. There's the 5th one is there's like no time limit. I like having a time limit in Friday the 13th. It's like a 20-minute round. And this one, it's as long as there are people or survivors on the map. If you have like 1 survivor that just refuses to go to the exit and is holding up the whole game, it's a big pain in the butt. And you get penalized for quitting the game early too, which isn't a bad thing, but if you're like the killer and the survivor just doesn't want to end the game and you quit, they all get points. It's just a big pain in the rumpus. So next up is Friday the 13th. If you don't know what Friday the 13th is about, it's a movie franchise starring Jason Voorhees with mommy issues, and he kills camp counselors at Camp Crystal Lake. That's the basic plot of it. So I'm going to talk about what I like and what I dislike about this game. So let's go over the pros, or what I like about Friday the 13th. The first one is there's multiple maps from the movie, like Crystal Lake, Packanack, the Jarvis House. I personally love Camp Crystal Lake. There's a big version and a small version, and it's just fun to play in these games. Number 2 is there's Easter eggs from the movies. There's the Pamela tapes, which she gives an interview of when her son goes missing. There's the Tommy Jarvis tapes, which he gives an interview when he's like in the loony bin, which is fun to find. Very hard to find these tapes, but worth it. There's also in the Jarvis house, you can go into Tommy's room and see all the masks he made from the movie. There is upgradable counselors. You can put upgradable items to the counselors so they can start off with like the health spray or the map or the you can invade Jason better. You can upgrade these counselors to make them stronger. There's different Jasons. There's Jasons from each of the movies. There's like first Jason with the sack over his head, and there's Jason from part 4, part 7. There's even a new Jason which I can't get because it's a special Jason that you have to back up the Kickstarter, which is Hell Jason, which scared the poop out of me when I first saw him. You can also upgrade Jason with special kills, which is fun to watch. You can communicate with other players. You can scare the shit out of players if you're Jason and they're near other players. If the player has a walkie-talkie, you can talk to them, communicate where you are on the map or where certain items are. There's several ways of escaping. There's the car, the boat, the police, and call Tommy Jarvis. You have to fix the car. You have like 3 items to find for the car. Um, in order to fix it, there's the keys, there's the gas, and there's the battery. With the boat, there's the propeller and the gas. And the boat is like a 2-seater, and the car is, there's a 2-seater car and a 4-seater car, which you can drive off. You can call the police, which you also have to fix the phone box. And Jason can come up and kill the phone box when you're trying to call the police, but that's a chance you can take. And you have to wait 4 minutes or 4 or 5 minutes for the police to arrive, and then you can head to the police. You can also call Tommy Jarvis if one of your fellow counselors has been killed or has escaped. You call Tommy Jarvis. The guy comes back as one of the playable characters. There's more ways to hide. You can hide in the bed, you can hide in the closet, you can hide in the tent. Yeah, it's just fun. There is ways you can fight back if you have a machete or a bat or a weapon. You can hit Jason, stun him, and run away. So that is all the pros I can think of. So let's go over what I don't like, or the cons of the game. In Friday the 13th, there is what is called team killing, which is a counselor can kill another counselor, whether on purpose or by accident. I'd rather be killed by Jason, not by some dude that has a shotgun and accidentally shoots me instead of Jason. Which goes into the second one, which is trolling. How you troll? Well, I had these ladies that fixed the car and started running everybody over in their car, the counselors. They weren't even trying to escape, they were just running people over. I came back as Tommy Jarvis, and I was trying to help these girls, and they ran me over. And in each other match, too, they kept running people over, so I had to quit the game. There's also ways you can troll other characters by slashing them or standing right in the way of a door, which is the only way to escape a cabin, and it's just not fun. There is third one is there's one killer, and that is Jason. Although you can get different skins for Jason, it can be quite boring just to play only as Jason. But yeah, and number 4 is Jason is too powerful, meaning you have no chance. You can soup up Jason so he can just teleport to your location and kill you right off the bat. And for example, I had this one guy who personally knew how to play Jason really well, and the match was over within 5 minutes because he killed everybody, and that was not fun. The counselors, or I think we're on number 5, are too weak. They don't stand a chance against Jason if you don't build them up. They're just there's one called LaChapa who doesn't have any stats and can be killed right off the bat. And the last one, or number 6, is you can't choose to play the killer or Jason. In Dead by Daylight, you can choose to either play as a survivor or as Jason or one of the killers. In Friday the 13th, you get the computer picks who gets to be Jason in a public match, and it's just a pain. Sometimes I just want to kill people. So that's the pros and the cons of the game. So my final thoughts on these games is I do prefer to play Friday the 13th because I could talk to people, there's more hiding spots, and it's just more fun for me to be able to communicate with people and coordinate how to escape. In Dead by Daylight, it is fun, but you can't talk to people. I like to be able to say, hey, I'm over here, or to the other survivors, or have more ways of fighting off the killer instead of a freaking flashlight, which is in the game, I think. Not fun. Although I do find that I've played both games extensively, I prefer Friday the 13th. I don't hate Dead by Daylight. I'm going to say that. I do like it. I just prefer to play Friday the 13th. So that is my video for today. I know it's different than the other videos I've uploaded. Next time I will have a progress report on Nina's staff. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment box down below. If you want more videos where I talk about my favorite video games, feel free to say so. And until next time, have a great day. Bye.